Good morning, it's Saturday, April the 21st, 2018. My name is Doug and welcome to this video where I'm going to go over the potential short-term tops I was seeing in the altcoins. And I expect that Bitcoin is going to go on a run upward and that it's going to make the altcoins drop back a little bit before they make a larger 1, 2, 3 bottom formation and take off on their long-term uptrend. So I took some profits on the following coins and I invested 25% of that into long-term lending, 30% went into cold storage, and I now have 0.7 Bitcoin to reinvest after all of these coins come back into their position here. So what I'm going to do is go through the charts and take a look at each of these. I'm going to start off out of order here and I'm going to go jumping down to BCN. We can see here my entry price and my exit price. So it turned out to be a fantastic profit on it, but I only sold out a part of my position in all of these trades. So I took a part of my position off, and I expect that it's going to come back a little bit before staging and going higher after that. So I'm keeping that money available so that I can buy back in, hopefully at a lower price, and get back the same number of coins I had earlier. Keeping my money in cold storage and the other stuff in lending, I'll be growing my coin stack. So I'll be watching carefully for this to come back for my buy-in opportunity. The next one we're going to take a look at is Dogecoin. Dogecoin, I did a margin trade on, and it turned out to be just perfect exit here at 70 Satoshi. So the trade was made about 0.68 or something Bitcoin in profit. It was really one of my best margin trades ever. But I still hold quite a bit of Dogecoin in exchange and set out for lending as well. And this Dogecoin trade actually was really important. And I wrote about it earlier as I was doing the trade. I wrote about it on Steemit, why you need a multi-monitor trading station. And I'll skip all the way to the top here. So it was 9 days ago, and I was explaining how I'm using how I would use a multi-monitor station as I have now for monitoring an open margin trade. So I show that I would have one screen showing the long-term view of the overall market. I would have a central top screen showing me my entry point in my margin trade and how much I was making or losing. And then I would have a close time frame chart up along the top right so that I could see just the last week or two of prices to see where we are in relation to where I got in. And then what I did was I monitored the lending rates really closely on Doge so I could see when people were taking short positions because it would drive up the lending rates and use up the available coin in the lending area of Poloniex. So by watching the lending rates and keeping an eye on the order book, I could get a feel for the momentum, the flow of the trade that was going on. And it turned out that I was able to read it for that time, at that moment, just perfectly. As the prices were coming up here, there was a whole bunch of short positions coming on. A whole bunch of the lending had been taken up and the interest rates were driven up to a higher point on the Doge lending rate in Poloniex. And so I thought, you know what, this is a double top. I see Bitcoin staging to go higher. I'm just going to get out. I closed my margin trade at the perfect time. So that was a really rewarding trade. Let's go on to the next one is Digibyte. So we can see here where my entry was, where I sold out of part of my position. And I only sold out of part of it because I see that Digibyte in the longer term is going to have a much, much larger move. So we're at the very, very beginning of a huge move in these markets, and I don't want to be missing out on that. So while I do want to take profits off of a 1, 2, 3 top formation, it was the same reason for all of these. Prices were surging up and I saw Bitcoin is ready to stage down, or stage up rather. So I knew that alts couldn't sustain this short-term rise up. At any rate, I'll be watching for prices to come back and then make another bottom, retest these levels, and then I'll be buying back in those coins that I sold out of here. So let's go back to the list itself. So we've looked at BCN, Digibyte, Doge. Let's take a look at BitShares, Burst, and GNT. BitShares, 3-month view. So I bought in here. I had to, it was the fake out breakout of a 1, 2, 3 bottom formation, and I had to hold as prices came down and retested those lows, made a better 1, 2, 3 bottom formation and a better buy-in signal here. But I held through that dip, and then I sold right up in there. If we go into the 3-day view, you can see as it was consolidating, and Bitcoin had just made a surge up. If I bring this chart back, Bitcoin had just surged up. This was not following Bitcoin up, but it was actually looking like it was topping right here. So I thought, I'm jumping ship. Got out and prices went up, and I thought, okay, I must be wrong. Everything is going to follow this one. It's been a leader. But all the other coins were not following. They were all suffering from Bitcoin's surge. So I didn't jump back in on this market. And it's turned out so far to be a lucky time to have sold out on that. But again, if we look at the chart pattern on the 1-month view so that we can see the exit type of timing, it was just my intuition about the same time that Dogecoin was getting all those shorts build up on it. I do believe I was watching the lending rate on BitShares rise at the same time. So the next one we have here is Burst and then GNT. So Burst, it had just made a surge up, and it wasn't reacting favorably to Bitcoin staging higher. So this didn't start going up with Bitcoin. It stayed flat and was having some trouble. So I sold out of it, and it turns out that this one was a good one to sell out of at that time as well. So a really good entry, a really good exit on that. But again, it was a small percentage of my overall trade, because I do think this has a really long-term future. It is a unique technology, and I think we're going to see this kind of stage and build so that we have a whole new level that it gets up to and stays above. So I don't want to miss out on that. I want to be sure to be buying back in on that when that price comes back. So in the 3-day view, I really want to be watching now. 1-week view, I want to watch for where does it get support and give me a good enough 1, 2, 3 turnaround on that level. GNT. There's many other markets in between, but these are ones that I actually took action and sold out of because of the chart pattern. And this one is continuing on. It's not proving me correct on this sellout here. If I zoom into the 1-month view, there could be that I'm already missing out, and this is the strength that I'll be looking for to buy back in and add on, even though I won't be able to add on as much as I could if it came back to retest old lows. I would still want to have a position in this market, though I'll just hold what I have for now. This will be an interesting trade as well, because if I am wrong, then I'm going to be studying the pattern of putting on your trade at the beginning and selling as prices go up, versus putting on your trade, a small part of your trade at the beginning, and adding on stages as the prices go up. So there's 2 different ways to build a position, and I'm going to do the math for both of them just to prove it in my own mind which one is actually superior. So going on now, we've got E equals MC squared, folding coin, game, and made. E equals MC squared. Another one that's showing the same idea, where I got in at these extreme lows and I sold out a part of my position there. If I zoom in and zoom in again, so far it's showing that I was at the right time. But we're also just coming up to this trend line here. There's plenty of different arguments to be going on this, and that's why I only sold out of part of it, and why I'm watching so closely as to when I should be buying back in. Folding coin, exactly the same idea here. 1-year view. And here in a closer zoom in, we can see where I was trading as though this was the bottom formation here. And then I didn't get out for quite a while. And so reviewing my trades over a long period of time and going over this trading system to explain it so that I can go back and review what I've been doing in my trading is very helpful, especially when I'm studying bad trades where I was not waiting for this moving average to cross over. It was still a downtrend and clear. And then a good trade comes along and I can start to see the difference between what I'm doing right and wrong and start to be more patient for waiting for the right times to do things in these trades. Really good study on that one. Game is the next one, where I bought in here at this low. I sold out of part of the position. And again, it's the same reasoning that prices were making a top formation. They showed softness as Bitcoin is staging up. I just figured that the emotional crowd of cryptocurrency traders will all start dumping at the same time. There should be some extreme lows here where I'll want to be picking the coin back up again on all of these trades. Made is the next one. Made, I did some selling on that. And so here's a buy and a sell on this, and I made back some of the money I'd lost in this market before because I did some big trades here on this consolidation. Let me zoom back a little bit. Right in this consolidation here, I did some big trades and I did some margin trades, and I didn't get out until it was painful. So I lost a whack of money on that trade because it was a really big trade. And now in hindsight, I can see that the moving averages were nowhere near crossing over. We didn't have a nice mature bottom formation like we have now. So now is a better time to be anticipating finding that bottom, this resistance again when it comes back down into these levels, and adding on to that position again from all the money that I sold out of it on there. So I'll build back on this now. It's the right time to be building a position. So hopefully I make back all the money I lost in testing out the market on the way down. Here's another one where I thought I did pretty good on this trade when I saw the sell price and this nice bottom formation there. But when I zoom back and see where I actually bought in, it's not that profitable of a trade. And even then I only sold out a part of my position, so it really didn't make me very much profit. But at any rate, it was a good time to sell out a part of that position and to look at getting back in on it. Here again, in analyzing my own trades, this moving average wasn't near crossing over yet. I was way early in trying to nail the exact bottom, instead of just waiting and doing other things until we get the bottom formation, we get the downtrend break, and the moving average crossover. Now, as for jumping out of this position at this time, it's certainly not necessary in the longer term simple trading plan, because the prices have not broken down and touched any of these moving averages. I like to go into the 1 month view, and now it's getting very close to the lower moving average and a reason to get out in a longer term perspective. NXT, and I use the same methodology, the same in all of these charts. So I got another one here, a fake out breakout and a terrible entry, but I held through it and finally turned it into a profit. And so that's not a very good trade either. I didn't wait for the trend line to be broken. I didn't wait for the bottom formation and the moving average crossover. If I go into the 1 month view, now the prices have skewered down below that lower band, but nowhere near yet on the 3 month view. So what I want to do is watch for resistance again, watch for this to come back to any of these levels, and then hesitate and make a new internal 1, 2, 3 bottom formation, maybe even on the daily price like this. If it were to make a bottom formation and start to turn around from this level, I would be considering that as the bottom and I would be watching it. Coin is the next one I sold out of. Let's go to the 1 month view. So it was a better entry on this market. I waited for the 1, 2, 3 bottom. I waited for the trend line break, and the moving average were teasing each other right there. On that breakout I bought, and then I did sell out pretty good on this just because of the timing of the Bitcoin going up and everything else making a top at the same time. it seemed like a good time to dump that one. And I think I sold the entire position on that, and I'll be watching to get back in on that on the 175, maybe even the 170 level it may punch down to. STR and XEM are the last two. STR, we can see where I bought in here on the exchange trade and I sold out here of a good part of my position, but the smaller arrows here are a positive money-making margin trade I did, where I was too chicken to hold the trade for very long. As soon as the market hesitated, I sold out of a profitable position. So that was not so good. And I did better in my Doge trade than I did in this margin trade in STR. XEM is the last one, and there are many other markets that made the same formation, but these are ones that I sold out of and that I did some studying on to see where did I buy in, what was the signal I bought in on, and where did I sell out. So again, on this one, in a self-critique, I bought in way too early. I was way too excited, and I didn't wait for all of the trading signals to come into play. And then I've sold out here, and I really want to watch closely to get back in on this. This is a second one that's made a bump right here. So when we go into the dailies, now we can start to see that many of them are following a different pattern here with this copying Bitcoin's move. And I'll be zoomed in and following these details closely. And it's another reason that it's great to have the multi-monitor system, because I can have many of these different charts up at the same time, and I can start to see patterns like that all turning out. And then I flip over to the lending rates to see what's going on with the short positions and long positions. And that finishes another video for my trading journal that I always update over on Digital Currency Traders forum. And it goes back all the way through all the bull runs, all the way back July of 2016. So it's almost 2 years of market data and trading journal analysis. So if we go back to a 2-year view from July of 2016 till now, all of this stuff, all of these moves have been journaled. All of those moves, all of those stages, I recall as the prices were doing this and the prices were doing this, and it looked so inviting. And each of these big sell downs just before the huge run is a really good trading lesson. And I think that we're going to get a lesson like that here in these next bull run. As prices are going up, there's going to be a lot of selling pressure coming in to teach some trading lessons. And I want to be light of foot and keep some of those profits. So thanks again for joining me on this review of the selling of many of my little altcoin positions and the long-term strategies that I see coming up in many of the altcoins. Good luck in all of your trading.